Let's take a look of the accounting cycle. Okay, class. What we will be discussing is posting. Okay, but this time the posting will be based on special journal. You have already learned, you have already had assignments with regards to posting uh, with the books of original entry under general journal. Now we are going to discuss posting using the special journals. Okay, so this will be our topic, posting to the general ledger, and at the same time we will be discussing the subsidiary ledger. The general ledger will be represented by our T account. Okay, class, let's move on. So posting is recording the journal entries from the book of original entry to the proper account in the general ledger. This time, the posting will be from the special journals. Let us discuss the differences between what we have with general journal and what we are going to do with special journal. Okay, in general journal, we have learned that we have to prepare journal entries in general journal, and then we will open the general ledger accounts, which is represented by T accounts. We will post each account of journal entries in the general ledger. We will determine the total debit and credit of all accounts. We will get the net balance of the account, and lastly, we will double rule the net balance. So we have done this, and you already have an assignment on this with regards to Andres Garland and Spani Maria. Now, class, for this discussion, we will be discussing posting using special journal. So what will be the procedures? First, we will prepare journal entries in special journal. Second, we will open the general ledger accounts, which is represented by our T accounts. Parehas din lang yan, class. Okay? And third, ito yung big difference. Post the total amount of the debit and credit of the special journals in the general ledger, usually done monthly. Ito class do sa general journal, lahat ng account pinopost natin. Dito sa special journal, yung total lang. Okay? Total nung amount ng debit and credit, you will see that. Okay? We have already learned the special journals, may mga columnar yan. So ito total lang natin yung mga columnar amounts. Okay, yun lang ang ipopost natin. And normally, this is done monthly. Okay. By the way, class, yung special journal na posting the total amount, this is the concept using the manual record. Okay? However, for accounting system, ina-apply din yung concept ng special journal. However, the posting remains, each account is being posted sa uh, computerized system. Number four is determine the total debit and credit of all accounts. It's the same thing. Number five, get the net balance of the account. It's the same. And double rule the net balance. So basically, ang difference lang yan will be on number three. And of course, number one, because you have to do the journal entries in special journal. Okay, so number three, ang difference. Sa special journal, we will post the total. Okay, ito yung sinasabing minimize or we will save time. Okay, in doing the posting. So let's review what we had sa general journal pagdating sa posting. This is the transaction, we have our entry, and this account is posted on the respective general ledger account represented by the T account. So we have learned this already, right? Furniture, and then owner's capital 390,000. Okay, this is what we have done, and this is another transaction. This is the journal entry, and we will post this journal entry to the respective accounts. Okay, we have learned this, and we're just trying to refresh your memory about what we have done uh, on General Journal. Okay, so I don't need to explain the more on this. Alam nyo na ito. Okay, and then after that, we are going to do the footing and get the net balance. Okay, so this is what we have done on posting with regards to the use of general journal. Now, for special journal, we have our special journal. Okay, for example, this purchase journal. Okay, and then what we have to do is that we will assume that for the month of May, we will have several what do you call this, entries in this special journal. So all entries, okay, up to the end of the month, May 31, and then we will get the total. So assuming that our purchases total on the for the month is 890,000, it's just an assumption. We will assume that there will be several entries after May 8 up to May 31. And then for sundry, we will assume that there's only one transaction there, 11,000. So the total debit is what? 890 plus 11,000. So you should expect your accounts payable will be the total of 890 plus 11,000. So that will be 901,000. Okay, so if we are going to do the posting, we will have the T account for purchases, and we will not post this account individually, but we will post the total amount of 890,000. So it simplifies, okay? It saves time. Okay, so we will extract the account for our equipment and post that, and the accounts payable, post the 901,000. So this is how it will look like in our uh, T account or in general ledger. But as I said, this type of posting is done when you are maintaining a manual record. But for computerized system, they still maintain the posting to be made um, on each account kasi computerized naman na siya. So hindi na rin naman ganoong kalaki ang difference kung total lang. Mas maganda kasi kung computerized na, mas madali nang i-post even each account. Okay? But I'm trying to give you the concept of why it can save time when using special journal and save time in terms of posting. Okay, gagawin natin lahat yan sa lahat ng special journal. Okay, for disbursement journal, ganun din. We will do this up to the end of the month, get their respective totals, assuming that the total nitong accounts payable, debit column natin is 780,000 and cash in bank of credit will also be the same at 780,000. So we will extract. We already have a balance in our accounts payable of 901,000 from the purchase journal. So kung ipopost natin yung 780, will be debit on the 780, and then we'll extract the cash in bank T account. We already have the total of 780, so that will be posted in cash in bank. Okay? Similarly, ganun din ang gagawin natin sa sales journal, end of the month. Okay? Kung ang naging total natin is 1,060,000 for accounts receivable, then our sales is 1,060,000. We will get the T account of accounts receivable and do the posting. Same with the T account of sales and do the posting. Okay? And on cash receipt journal, ganun din. At the end of the month, we will get the total of each column, and that will be the amount that we are going to post. So I'll get their respective T account. Okay? We already have entries sa ating cash in bank na 780,000. So we can now post that 1,240,000. And then the 780,000 was from our disbursement journal. And then our accounts receivable, we also have entries in our accounts receivable, so sales journal, and then we can post now the 980,000. And then our sales, we also have entry on our sales from sales journal, and then for cash receipt journal, we have 260,000. Oh, by the way, class, please take note. Okay. For sales, we have this is our sales on account. So we debit accounts receivable on that. And this is our cash sales. Okay. So after doing all the posting of totals, this will be the summary of our general ledger accounts or our T accounts, a cash in bank, ito yung mga transaction natin, sa accounts receivable, this is what we have, sa equipment, accounts payable, and then purchases and sales. Okay. So if we will look at the balance, by the way, in our purchase journal, yung purchases nanggaling yan sa purchase journal, tsaka yung equipment, and then credit accounts payable. So sa purchase journal natin, ang naging entry natin is debit purchases, debit equipment, and credit accounts payable. Okay? Tapos sa ating disbursement journal, we debit accounts payable. It means that we have paid accounts payable and credit cash in bank. Okay? Sa ating sales journal, we debited accounts receivable and credit sales. Okay? Then sa ating cash receipt journal, we debit cash in bank. Yan. And we credit accounts receivable. Ito yung mga nagbayad ng mga utang, okay, sa atin. So we receive cash, and then the other cash is from cash sales. Okay. So basically, ito yung ating mga T accounts at pinakita natin dito kung saan nanggaling yung kanilang mga entries. Okay. If we will extract the balances, our cash in bank will have a debit balance of 460,000, and then ang accounts receivable natin has a debit balance of 80,000, and obviously our equipment has a debit balance of 11,000. Our accounts payable has a credit balance of 121,000, and purchases 890,000 debit balance, and sales has a credit balance of 1,320,000. Okay, class. There will be probably a problem kung wala tayong i-maintain na other records. Kasi now the question is, in terms of cash, walang problema because cash, we don't have to know the details of that cash. Equipment, it's only one, so hindi naman masyadong madalas tayo mag-purchase ng equipment. Okay, purchases, wala namang problema. We don't have to need the breakdown of that as well as sales. But the problem here is on accounts receivable and accounts payable. Itong 80,000 na ito na merong debit, ang if we will see the T account or the general ledger na 80,000, the question is, ano ang breakdown niyan? Sino-sinong mga customers ang hindi pa bayad ng utang? Okay? So that is our problem. As well as our accounts payable. Kani-kanino tayo may utang? Okay? Sino pa hindi natin nabayaran? So to resolve that, we have to maintain another set of records. And this is your subsidiary ledger. Okay? We have to maintain a subsidiary ledger for your accounts receivable and a subsidiary ledger for your accounts payable. Okay? So, what is subsidiary ledger? So we will discuss now subsidiary ledger. There are two basic subsidiary ledgers. Subsidiary ledger for receivables. These are individual record of customers providing details on. So subsidiary ledger for receivables, individual record ito ng customers natin. Ano ang binibigay? Yung mga sales on account, okay, which are our receivable to that customer. And we can extract the sales on account from sales journal and the receipt of payment from our customer. And we have a record of that from our cash receipt journal. Okay. And the other subsidiary ledger is for payables. These are individual record of supplier vendor providing details on our purchases on account. And we can get that from our purchase journal. So the other one will be the payment of account, and we can get that from disbursement journal. So what we are trying to say here, class, is that your subsidiary ledgers, the reference of recording in your subsidiary ledgers will be from sales journal and cash receipt journal. Okay? And also for your payables, the purchase journal and disbursement journal. So these are the two major records that you can use, okay? So you can maintain your subsidiary ledgers, okay? So the question is, do you still need the supporting documents like for the sales invoice, okay? Um, In most cases, hindi na. Kasi ang base mo na lang, in-extract mo na lang yung record from sales journal. And there is an assumption there na of course, kung ano naka-record sa sales journal, ililipat mo lang sa i-record mo lang sa subsidiary ledger. But if there are questions, then you can refer to the original document. Okay? So for subsidiary ledger for accounts receivable, you have to maintain a record for each customer. So the name of the customer, and of course you have to have the contact number para in case na may problema. And then normally it's a columnar record, yung subsidiary ledger natin. So you have the date, the reference numbers, and then now you are monitoring here the accounts receivable. So the accounts receivable is the debit, which are the sales on account to your customer, and the credit, which is the payment made by the customer, and the balance. Okay? So now let's, as I have said, we are using the sales journal, the special journal. In this case, for accounts receivable, we will be using the sales journal. And ito yung ating mga entries sa ating sales journal. So if we are going to maintain, okay, a subsidiary ledger for customer X, okay, so it means, class, that we are going to maintain subsidiary ledger sa lahat nating customer. Okay, customer Y, customer Z, meron din siyang ganitong record. So at this time, we are going to present the subsidiary ledger for customer X. So in this case, if we are going to record this transaction of customer X on his subsidiary ledger, we have May 5, then the reference number is 3055, that's the sales invoice. And then there is a debit of 10,000. What we are trying to record here is the accounts receivable part. So there is a debit of 10,000. So yun lang ang i-record. Wala na tayong, hindi na natin ko concern yung sales credit because what we are trying to record here is the accounts receivable. Okay? So the balance now is 10,000. Okay, class? So now, the other reference for accounts receivable subsidiary ledger is, let's again extract the subsidiary ledger of customer X, and this is the format of our subsidiary ledger, and this is what we have recorded. Okay, this is what we have so far for customer X. And now let's take a look of the other reference, which is the cash receipt journal. So ano yung mga entries natin sa cash receipt journal? So now we will look now kung meron bang transaction si X. Yes, may transaction si X on May 24. On May 24, we received cash of 10,000 from X. Okay, so here you can see that the 10,000 is for this reference number 3055. So we will record May 24. Okay, and the reference number of 258, that's the OR number, and it is paying 3055. Okay, so we receive, so you see here accounts receivable, and this is what we are recording in the subsidiary ledger, accounts receivable of 10,000, and that's credit. Okay, so we will put that on the credit side of the subsidiary ledger. Okay, so in this case, merong utang si X na 10,000, nagbayad siya ng 10,000, so wala nang utang si X. So magiging record natin. However, there's still a transaction from X on May 25. Okay? This transaction of X, titignan natin, meron ba, is it in regards to accounts receivable? Hindi. Kaya hindi natin siya i-record dito. Kasi hindi naman siya accounts receivable. Ang nire-record lang natin sa subsidiary ledger is a transaction with regards to accounts receivable. Yung transaction ng May 25 is about with, yes, there was a receipt of cash, but it's not in relation to accounts receivable, but it is a cash sales. So, hindi natin siya i-record sa subsidiary ledger. Ang i-record lang natin ay ang transactions with regards to accounts receivable. Okay? Okay, next is accounts payable. Okay, ganun din yung concept class. We have to maintain, now in this case, imbis na customer, si supplier na, kanino tayo may utang. Okay, supplier, similarly, ganun din. It's columnar, but at this time, we are monitoring or recording the accounts payable transactions. Okay, only accounts payable. We have the debit, credit, and balance still. Okay, sa accounts payable, ano ang magiging reference natin? It's the purchase journal. Let's take a look at what we have under our purchase journal. Okay, so here class, this is the accounts payable. Ito ang i-record natin. Ito ang magiging input natin sa ating subsidiary ledger. Okay? So purchase journal will provide you the credit side of the accounts payable. Kasi ito yung utang natin. Ito ang record ng utang natin. So in this case, okay, this is our supplier, assuming that we will maintain a record for gold company. Gold company, okay? And then, so we have to enter the May 1 transaction. So May 1, reference number is PV104, and that is the invoice from that purchase is 5800, okay? And here, ang ipopost natin is this, the accounts payable. So we are going to put the 30,000. So ang balance natin as of May 1st, ang utang natin kay gold is 30,000. Okay? Meron pa ba dito si gold? Wala na. So kung meron pa transaction si gold dito, then we have to post it there. Okay? But in this time, tatlo lang yung pinakita natin. Pero kung meron pa, then you have to continue posting it to the gold company. So yung transaction ni ABC, pupunta yan sa record ni ABC. Si Cruz pupunta rin sa record ni Cruz. Okay? So let's extract again the record of gold and the other reference that we are, and this is what we have so far. Okay, gold. And now the disbursement journal. Disbursement journal, yung ating mga entries dyan. Okay, ang i-record natin class is ito. So sa disbursement journal, we are recording the debit side of the accounts payable. Okay? Ang ibig sabihin, debit is binayaran. Okay, bayad. So let's take a look of what we have sa disbursement journal. So here, class, nandito ba si gold? Yes, nandiyan si gold. So ang ibig sabihin, we have to enter record the May 10 transaction sa ating subsidiary ledger sa kay gold. So sa May 10, we have May 10 there. So the reference is the check 456. Okay. And then here, there's another reference. It means that binabayaran ng check itong payable voucher 104. Okay. So here we have, there is a debit there of 20,000. Okay. 20,000. So in this case, there is still a balance of 10,000. So hindi makikita mo dito, hindi binayaran in full si 30,000. Okay, class? That is the illustration with regards to subsidiary ledgers of accounts receivable and accounts payable. If you have questions, class, please let me know. Okay, class. Have a nice day, and that's it for our lessons for this week. And